Yeah, I definitely planned to not record until we got to the event. Totally. Hey, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we finished... actually, we just did a first hard mirror dungeon, I should say. And this time, we will be starting off the collab event. However, we are going to be grabbing first a couple of pulls from the banner. Okay, and Faust. Not bad. Now, I'm not very hopeful about my odds of getting any of the banner ego. And like, again, I'm not concerned about it on this account because I am aiming to get them all on my main account. And I'll be, occasionally jumping onto that just as like I mean, it's more complete than this one. I have almost everything on the on my main account. Oh shit, never mind. Fucking sure. So I'm just going to say this right away. On my main, I have not pulled a single one. I pitied for the Honglu. Oh, Priest Gregor. Priest Gregor's a very fun idea. What the fuck? Alright, I guess this makes up for the Walpurgis luck. What?! What the fuck?! Okay. Sure. Fucking okay. That is insane! Again, I have not pulled a single one on my main account. And I've gotten all three in 60 pulls. What the fuck? Alright then. God, I'm glad I have this recorded. And Faust. Some bleed, some nails is a decent status. Gaze is actually pretty decent as well. However, she's got some of the best support passives in the game. Free SP for some pretty... I mean, like, 15 SP is not insignificant. Fire Fist is burn... Or not Fire Fist. Liu, it's burn. It's worse than Fire Fist. Priest Gregor is an insanely good tank because of... here. Once per encounter, he just doesn't die for a turn. Once you have 5 lust. Priest is so good. Fucking, what the fuck? Unbrilliant Glory. This one is, from what I understand, you just want to, like, spam Unbrilliant Glory a lot. Use it a bunch, get Man Scabbard, and then you can, you keep getting it more and more. Becomes clashable at 40, and then, yeah. What the fuck? Clash power plus 20, Jesus. For... Boop-a-doop-a-doop. To remain oneself. Oh, that's insane. Sinking, poise, all that sort of stuff. And then... For Command Meltdown, rather. Some Hardened Shell Barrier, gets some extra defense level up, some extra healing. Faust has a lot of healing on her He slot, so that is something to be a little bit a little bit cautious. Not cautious. To have in mind that is a thing. God, I was not expecting that. Obviously. What the fuck? That is insane. I know I've said that so many times already, but what the fuck? I am befuddled. And we're just gonna get 45. Perfect. Faust says exactly 45. But before we hop into that, well, first of all, what's that? Is that Brilliant Glory our first Valve? No, we have Tears of Untarnished Blood. But just give me a moment. Alright, sorry about that. Now, what I was initially just going to go and do this on my main account. Just because I have more level 55s there. Oh well. We got some fucking insane luck. There's a few story things. I will do my best to not spoil them. Wait. No, Yisang doesn't have a media, whatever. But I'll do my best to... Oh, hold up. Swatch on over to hard? Perfect. Switch on over to hard. Yeah, we're a little underpowered for it, but... there's only a little bit that I would say is, like, proper very difficult. And I'll be able to manage that. I was exploring the Battery Corporation bridge when my consciousness sinks into the depths. The sense of cognition, itself a concept without form, floats into the shadow of an ever-widening river, swept up in its currents to nowhere. When we ran into an abnormality. But Sog told us that Hunyuan's Lobotomy Corp branch should be free of any abnormalities. The abnormality, which had appeared out of nowhere, was more otherworldly than any we'd encountered so far in our journey, and deep blue. It was fathomlessly blue, and seemed to have a pull that endlessly drew us into itself. This is how I was about to recall this abnormality. A myriad of sceneries and a flood of incalculable thoughts crashed into my mind, like wild waves before ebbing away from its shores. I was already lost and adrift somewhere within my own consciousness when I realized this. Just how long am I going to be adrift? The sensation of my own consciousness floating away is quite the unfamiliar one. And I floated around in that strange state for a while. An unfamiliar voice seized my aimlessly drifting consciousness. Are you Dante? The fog of my vision clears as the voice breaks through the waves. A concerned expression comes into view. Yes, I am. Ah, what a relief. Gregor, I think Dante has come too. So, Court. I was about to ask this further questions to the stranger with a particularly long animal-like ears, but I felt the drowsiness coursing back with the terrifying memories of the dream, rendering me unable to speak. I have to get a hold of myself. After an indeterminate amount of time had passed, I barely managed to wake myself from slumber to get a grasp of my surroundings, only find myself surrounded by more unfamiliarities. There was that stranger from earlier, sitting atop a rock and silently taking in the sights. A young girl who probably saved my life. Wait, so are those animal ears after all? Okay, that's not important right now. I have to prioritize figuring out just where in the world I ended up in. So we're standing by the Iberian coastline. How are you feeling? A little out of it, but I'm okay otherwise. Iberia, huh? Yes, we're in Iberia. Well, given that we're next to an ocean, maybe I drifted all the way to Eucorp's Great Lake. Iberia was an unfamiliar name, but that was all I had to go on, given that the city was still full of more unknowns than knowns to me. I read you your colleagues when you briefly woke up earlier. They'll be here any minute now. I see you. Wait, my colleagues? You must have run into the sinners then. The fog of my mind immediately cleared as soon as I realized that the sinners were all nowhere to be seen. Sinners? I think so. I ran into them earlier. They were looking all over the place for someone with a clock for their head. It was a pretty unique description, so I could tell right away that you were the person they were looking for. This clock head does come in handy. Manager Bud. Ah, Dante. I woke up in an unfamiliar place to an unfamiliar face, and in the midst of all this all-around sense of displacement, the faces that appeared before me were certainly a sight for sore eyes. Gregor, hallelujah! Miss Rabbit here was telling me that you're finally unconscious by the ocean. Came as fast as I could, and oh boy, I was worried something bad might have happened. Let's see you're doing fine. Were you lost at sea? I don't know. I do think I'm fine, though. I guess not having to drink any water is finally coming in handy. I get that checked out just in case. Your head's waterproof, right? Gregor takes a moment to study his breathing, then mutters a casual quip as he lights a cigarette. Well, he doesn't seem that concerned. Maybe we're not actually in that much danger. What happened? Where are we? Do you remember anything that Bottom Corp branch station told us about? Yeah. Mentioned a new air abnormality, and I got sucked into it before I even had the chance to do anything. Man, I really thought that was it for us. That's with you getting sucked in there too, Manager Bud. But when we came to, despite waking up with our faces down in some ditch, we were all fine without a scratch. No, there was quite the mess when we realized you'd gone missing. I wanted to search for you immediately, but it took a while before we got a better bearing of where we were. So we're not at U-Corp's Great Lake? So much consider that to be a distinct possibility, but it's unlikely. Ishmael was really certain that we're not in District 21. I can see that we might be in not an area within the Great Lakes, the outskirts, but it doesn't seem likely either, given what the rabbit-eared lady said. The outskirts regions of the Great Lake? I've met all kinds of people from all over Terra, but I've never met anyone who referred to the Iberian Sea that way. Terra? Iberia? I found myself puzzled by all these unfamiliar terms. A very obvious question suddenly struck me. Speaking of which, who are you? You fellas haven't introduced yourselves to each other? Is that all a lot to take in? It's understandable. You just wake up from a pretty harrowing experience. She's, Actually, would you like to do the honors yourself? I'm Amia, the reader of Rhodes Island. Please just call me Amia. I'm Dante, manager at Limbus Company. I know I'm late, but thanks for saving my bacon. This Rodeo Island is a pretty big corporation, but... Gregor trails off ominously and scratches his head before continuing with some mild trepidation. The only with the rabbit ears doesn't seem to know what the head is, I know. As far as I know, there aren't any organizations in Terra with the same characteristics as the one Mr. Gregor explained. It's not one with the name like the head. Sorry, it's Rhodes Island, not Rodeo. Gregor's kind of bad with names. So, what you're saying is that we're not in the city anymore. It'd be kind of weird for any higher-ups of these huge corporations to know less about the head than we do, let alone be completely clueless about it. Well, maybe if someone wants to previously discovered the zone of the outskirts of the ruins. Probably. Maybe we really found ourselves in a completely different world? If their conjecture is correct, we're in way bigger trouble than I thought. This wasn't like the time we actually stranded ourselves in the outskirts via a door in the corridor. Amiya stared at me with some concern as though she felt my stress. I think we draw a connection to something else that's happening here. Really? Yes. Recently, anomalous signs and events have been occurring in Iberia ever since the mysterious dimensional door appeared at sea. It's been said that this dimensional door is connected to something very, very distant, something we never observed before, so... It seems reasonable to theorize that the dimensional door is how we managed to cross over to this world. I really would have appreciated Faust's input. Where'd all the other sinners go anyway? A bit like on the update to be got one for the sinners now, don't you think? At a settlement near here, where we're all helping out with various odds and ends of the village. I'll take a turn search for Dante, of course. No, never thought about how difficult it would be to search for someone when we're like a fish out of water, too. Man, barely even got a wink of sleep since yesterday. Everyone's gotta be really tired then. So it's really just you two out here for now. No, Ishmael and Yi-Sung are the other half of the search party. We just happen to be the last group in the rotation. We may be searching elsewhere to find you, Manager Bud. We got the news early thanks to Amiya's comm gears, but the other team didn't. Yeah, lucky. In our team, well, we don't have anyone to get in touch with them, so they'll probably continue the search until their shift is done. I was talking about that village you mentioned earlier. Well, right, you're not by there yet, huh? It's a bit off the beaten path. Oh, we're gonna have to rendezvous with the other sinners anyway, so let's head to the village for now. Something seemed to pique Amiya's interest as she fell into a contemplative silence before carefully speaking up. I'd like to accompany you there. Sure, I don't see why not. You're up to fly, Manager Bud, and more importantly, you seem to know a lot more about this place than we do. I don't actually know Iberia that well either, but I should be of some help. They've closed their borders and practically locked out any foreign influences from affecting them, but I did get a briefing before the mission. Closed borders, huh? How'd you get in, Miss Amiya? We followed Dr. Kalsitz's directions and illegally crossed the country border. Illegally? Does that mean you crossed the border without obtaining any permission, Amiya? We had to cross the border somehow in order to investigate how and why the dimensional door came to be. Is it normal for pharmaceutical companies to be doing that? Large pharmaceutical companies often dispatch their agents for missions. Yes, Rhodes Island is, in essence, a pharmaceutical company researching treatments for people infected with neuropathy. But we also work to prevent and assist the management of various situations that can occur in high-risk areas. High-risk areas, huh? What about your companions? That came all the way here on your own. We were forced to split due to certain forces that were in pursuit. Wait, stop! Amiya's ears twitched as she came to a stop again, scanning the surrounding area. Then, there. As we stood about confused, Amiya, noticing something, pointed toward the seashore hidden behind large and craggy rock formations. We're supposed to... Huh? She saw someone wielding the length of the greatsword and bickering with two familiar faces. Again, move. You're in my way. You needn't worry as you do. We've had ample experience battling monsters who are much like them. Listen, I'm not worried. Come on, better to have 3 fighters than 1, right? Besides, you're the first person we ran into out here, so we got a lot of questions to ask. You saw me, Ishmael! Dante, you're unharmed. You're almost getting ready for a 3 days long search. A relief. We're not really worried that we might never be able to find you. Managed to find them thanks to Miss Amiya here. Oh yeah. Are you two acquainted? Not a good time for a reunion. It can wait, till after we've taken out the sea monsters. Scotty, are those organisms, the seaborn, as Dr. Cotsett mentioned? They're sea terrors, to be specific. Let's investigate amongst them. They'll probably hear from me. Sea terrors? I hear the sticky noise of flowing viscous slithering against the rocks. When I turn to face the origin of the unsettling noise, I smell a heavy, wet scent of brine. And in my gaze awaits strange monsters, unlike distortions, unlike abnormalities, unlike anything I'd ever seen. So the sea itself is encroaching on the land. It's almost certainly we're on the Great Lake, but I'm not so sure anymore. Our experience with the thick scent of brine at the Great Lakes must have put her in a wary mood, as Ishmael seemed to be a lot more apprehensive about these monsters than anyone else. Think those creatures could be whales or mermaids? I don't know. Great Lake and the outskirts are full of unexplored mysteries after all. Dante, what do your senses say? It's unclear. The closest comparison I could make is with the whales, but even that's not conclusive. Martin's on the horizon. Prepare for battle. Seems like we're talking this out with them, though. Let's take them out! For the most part, this is not a terribly difficult intervallo event, whatever. These guys are really weak. That's not the Netsuy brand is not something that will be relevant for a decent while. That's later on in the intervallo. Of course, I have played through it on my own. On my main account. Mostly just to get a hang of everything that's going on there. Also check out if there's any spoilers. There is one line that I will be cutting out. Everything else I think we should be fine with. The main things we need to know are that Hong Yuan is H Corp, Hong Lu's home, and yeah, I think that that's really about it. Again, there's one line that I will be cutting. I don't remember exactly what it is, but just as a fair warning for the future, there will be a point where I do have a cut in the middle of some dialogue, and that is why. Another thing I will mention right now, there is a daily sign-in event going on right now. It is 20 days, I believe. Our main enemies have retreated to the sea. Go work, everyone. Didn't think I'd ever deal with anything remotely like this outside the Great Lake. So that again. We're taking this whole day that Scotty character didn't occupy the other half, and Miss Rabbit helps from a distance. As we're catching our breath after the battle, I heard a brief hum. I turned to look at his source and saw Scotty glaring at me with palpable alarm. Strange people who transform in a head of a clock. I guess they're both technically true. Well, it's nothing more than a theory at this point. I think it has a lot to do with the dimensional door we're supposed to be investigating. Nice to meet you, I guess. I only hear a ticking clock. It's because only us sinners can hear Dante's voice. Huh? What's up? I'm just wondering how Miss Amiya can seemingly understand Dante. Yeah, what's going on here? It completely flew over my head that I didn't even question how weird this is. The voice sounds like a ticking clock to me too, but I don't know. It sounds like you can sense what they're trying to say. What kind of emotion they're trying to convey. Her explanation would remind me of the Blue Boy in Sinclair's past, but I didn't quite feel the uncanny sensation from Amiya that I felt from them. So she can kind of read me how, like, Vergilius can, I guess? I think it's a bad thing. It's true. But if I have to always need to foster Hong Lu to translate for you, Dante. I don't know exactly how she can understand Dante, but I don't think we have the luxury of time to sit down and figure this out. Heading back? Doesn't like the plan. I don't know anywhere else to go, right? Miss Rabbit here will be tagging along too. She said she'd help us find our way back. I'm glad to be working with you two also, Miss Ishmael, Mr. Honglu. Wait. Yeah, huh. Weird. The words right out of my mouth. You already helped us plenty, and you clearly know a lot more about this place than we do. The journey is long. Perhaps embarking on the day of the sun's fall would be wise. How long's the journey? No idea. Not like we have a clock with us. I do know it's not very far, though. Seems to walk along the coastline for a bit. Scotty quietly points in my direction. Dante can't tell us the time because they're not on time. Then why the clock head? I didn't exactly choose to get myself a clock-shaped head. I looked away from Scotty's inquisitive eyes, which were solidly fixed on my head. The coast of Iberia are hardly good places for people to live. Those things can go anywhere in this world, but they thrive at the places that meet the ocean. How people manage to build villages to places like this? The monsters are called seaborns, or sea terrors, yes. It is true that they pose certain difficulties. They were hardly the kind of monsters with the strength to bring scourge and drive out the local populace. Don't judge them based on that brief skirmish. It is done to be on our guard, right? She gotta be a bit curt, but she's not a bad person. I don't think she said anything wrong. I think it was all the existence of stronger variants of these creatures being out there. Scotty's concern only served to fan my curiosity, but something about her expression communicated that I probably shouldn't pry. So I quietly clicked my pace to walk to the village. God, I am absolutely crazy at that. We got all of them right away. Yeah, 126 for that. That's very nice. So yeah, we will be getting the title elegy. There we go. For Ishmael. Big sinking. Lots of damage. Some solid AoE as well. But that will do it for this time. And next time, we continue on with Pilgrimage of Compassion. But until then, see you guys later.